Hey there, you beautifully doomed souls. Welcome back to what's officially become the most unexpectedly long-running series since the cockroach's debut in the Mesozoic era. If you've been following along, congrats on still being alive and kicking. And if this is your first time stumbling into our post-apocalyptic corner of Reddit, well, you're in for a hell of a ride. This is our Surviving the Apocalypse Like a Boss. And boy, do we have some juicy nuggets of wisdom for you. For those who've been with us since the beginning, you know the drill. We've covered everything from outsmarting brain-munching zombies to the douchebag ghosts in basements, but today, we're digging deeper. Literally, because it's time to talk about becoming a glorified mole person. Before we dive in, let's set the mood. Picture this. The world has gone to shit. The surface is about as welcoming as a hornet's nest, and you're pretty sure your neighbor has been eyeing you as potential barbecue material. What's a survivor to do? Well, lucky for you, I've scoured the remnants of the internet, consulted with the few remaining experts, including a guy who insists he was a park ranger in his past life, and performed some highly questionable experiments to bring you the ultimate guide to thriving underground. Each tip of this masterpiece will cover a tip so essential, so groundbreaking, that you'll wonder how humanity ever made it this far without it. We're talking about making the most out of your new mole life. From turning your bunker into a Pinterest-worthy abode to mastering the fine dining of canned goods cuisine. So, strap in, grab your glow-in-the-dark fungi, because who needs sunlight, right? And let's embark on this journey together. And remember, in the world of post-apocalyptic survival, laughter might just be the best radiation medicine. Let's get this underground party started, shall we? Tip 1. Embracing your inner mole person. The Subterranean Style Guide. Let's kick this off with tip number 1, becoming one with the underground. Now, I know what you're thinking. Living in a bunker? How the hell did my life turn into a low-budget sci-fi movie? But hear me out. When the surface world decides to go full-on Mad Max, the smart money's on becoming a chic mole person. Plus, it's the perfect excuse to avoid your in-laws indefinitely. 1. Choosing your underground lair. First things first, location is everything. You want a spot that's deep enough to dodge the radioactive hoedown happening topside, but still within a reasonable distance from the remains of civilization. Why? Because you'll run out of Cheetos eventually, and you'll need to make supply runs without turning into a glow stick. Look for abandoned subway stations, missile silos, for those who like a touch of Cold War chic in their decor. Or if you're feeling particularly adventurous, dig out your own hobbit hole. Just remember, if you choose the DIY route, for the love of all that's still green, invest in a sturdy shovel. Your hands will thank you, and so will your sanity. 2. Making it homey. Now, living underground doesn't have to mean giving up on the finer things in life, like, not contracting tetanus. Get creative with your space. Those government-issue bunkers come with all the charm of a concrete box, but nothing says home sweet home, like a throw rug made from old t-shirts and mood lighting, courtesy of battery-powered fairy lights. And plants. Just because you're living in an environment where the sun is a distant memory doesn't mean you can't have greenery. Opt for those low-light, hard-to-kill varieties. Plastic plants are also an option if you're the type who can't keep a cactus alive. 3. The fashion of the underworld. Forget the runway. The real fashion revolution is happening right here in your bunker. Those old hazmat suits, with a little tailoring, they're the next big thing in post-apocalyptic chic. And gas masks are not just practical, they're a bold statement piece. Think of it as survivalist haute couture. 4. Community vibes. Just because you're living underground doesn't mean you can't have a social life. Start a book club, hold movie nights. Hand-cranked projectors are a godsend. Or if you're feeling particularly ironic, an end-of-the-world themed party. Who says the apocalypse can't be fun? And there you have it, folks. Tip number 1 for surviving the nuclear apocalypse with style. Remember, becoming a mole person isn't about hiding from the world. It's about making the best of a bad situation. So, embrace the underground life. After all, it's not like there's a better option waiting upstairs. Tip 2. DIY decor. turning your bunker into a post-apocalyptic palace. All right, folks, you've found your hole in the ground, your cozy concrete coffin, your very own slice of subterranean heaven. But let's face it, the ambiance is more serial killer chic than cozy apocalypse hideout. Fear not, my fellow mole people, for I have descended into the depths of decor despair and emerged victorious with tips to turn your bunker into a place where even Martha Stewart would dare to tread post-nuclear fallout. 1. Mood lighting. First up, we're tackling lighting. Because nothing says home sweet bunker like the right ambiance. Those fluorescent lights you've got, they're harsher than my ex's criticism of my cooking. Ditch 'em. We're going for mood lighting. Grab some of those battery-powered LED lights, stick 'em in old bottles, and voila, you've got yourself some trendy post-apocalyptic lamps. And for that romantic radiated glow, those glow-in-the-dark paint cans you found while scavenging make for a perfect nightlight. Just don't ask what's in them. 2. Wall art. Those concrete walls might have the charm of a Soviet prison, but with a little creativity, they can be your canvas. Find some old magazines, comics, or even those leaflets warning about the end times. Papier-mâché them onto the wall. Not only does it add a pop of color, but it also provides reading material for when the Wi-Fi's down. Forever. 3. Furniture. If your furniture is looking like it's been through the apocalypse, well, it has, but that doesn't mean it can't look fabulous. Find some fabric remnants or even old clothes to reupholster that sad-looking couch. No sewing skills? No problem. A staple gun is your new best friend. Aim for a distressed chic look. It makes any mistakes seem intentional. 4. The green touch. Just because we're living like moles doesn't mean we can't have a bit of greenery. Those cans you've been hoarding? Time to get gardening. Start a mini herb garden or cultivate some mushrooms. It's like Farmville, but with actual survival benefits. Plus, talking to plants is totally normal now. They're your bunker buddies. 5. Personal touches. Finally, it's the little things that make a place feel like home. Hang up that picture of your dog. You know, the one who's now the leader of a local dog gang. Set up a small shelf for your collection of apocalypse-themed snow globes. Make a corner cozy with all the blankets you've hoarded. And there you have it, my end-of-the-world enthusiasts. With these tips, your bunker will be the envy of the underground. Remember, just because society has collapsed doesn't mean our standards have to. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where we'll dive into the glamorous world of post-apocalyptic fashion. Because who says you can't slay while you survive? Tip 3. Fashioning the fallout. Dressing for success in the end times. Forget the runways of Milan. The real style revolution is happening right here in the ruins. Let's dive into the art of dressing to impress when the only audience you might have is a band of mutant raccoons. 1. Radiation chic. Let's start with the basics. Those lead-lined aprons from the dentist's office. They're not just for blocking x-rays anymore. Pair one with your grungiest pair of jeans for that I might be going to a bunker party, or I might just be surviving look. Add a belt. Duct tape is a must-have accessory this season to cinch the waist, and voila, you've got yourself a post-apocalyptic ensemble that screams functional yet fashionable. 2. Layer love. Temperature. Regulation is key when you're not sure if you'll be facing a nuclear winter or a radioactive summer. The solution? Layers, and lots of them. Start with a base layer of whatever breathable fabrics you can scavenge, then add more layers than an onion. Bonus points for incorporating materials with a bit of sparkle, because even when the world is dull and gray, you don't have to be. 3. Footwear. Finesse. In the apocalypse, your feet are your most valuable asset. Treat them well. Those stilettos you used to love? Repurpose them as decorative spikes for your door. It's all about practical footwear now. Boots are your best bet. Preferably steel-toed for that extra oomph when kicking zombie butt. If you can find a pair with waterproofing, you're golden. If not, remember that plastic bags inside your shoes can work wonders. Just don't forget to rock those socks with sandals for the ultimate in apocalyptic irony. 4. Accessorize. wisely. In the wasteland, every accessory must serve a dual purpose. That chunky necklace, it's also a handy tool for strangling zombies. Your belt? It doubles as a tourniquet or a weapon. And sunglasses aren't just for looking cool. They protect your eyes from the harsh glare of a sun that's forgotten what it means to be gentle. Remember, in the apocalypse, versatility is the new black. 5. DIY dye jobs. Finally, let's talk hair. Without salons, you're on your own for maintaining your locks. Luckily, the apocalypse offers a plethora of DIY dye options. Radiator fluid for that neon green look, or perhaps some rust for a more natural auburn. Just remember, safety first. Use gloves if you can find them, and always do a patch test, because the last time I checked, post-apocalyptic chic doesn't include chemical burns. And there you have it, fellow survivors. Your guide to slaying the fashion game when civilization is just a distant memory. Remember, in the end times, confidence is key. Wear your radiation suit with pride. Strut through the rubble like it's your personal catwalk. And always, always remember to laugh in the face of danger. After all, what's the apocalypse for if not to shake up the fashion world? Stay stylish, my friends. Tip 4. Gourmet Apocalypse. Mastering the art of canned cuisine. The post-apocalyptic palate. Once accustomed to a world of endless culinary possibilities, we now find ourselves staring into the abyss of canned goods and non-perishable items, pondering the eternal question, can I make a Michelin star meal out of Spam and beans? Fear not, fellow culinarians of the collapse, for I bring you a guide to transforming your bunker into the last standing bastion of fine dining. 1. The art of can-do cooking. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Your pantry is full of cans, and you're not a wizard. Or are you? With a little creativity, those cans are your ticket to gourmet greatness. Begin by mixing and matching flavors you never dared combine in the before times. Corned beef hash and peach slices? Sounds like a breakfast of champions. The key here is an open mind and a willingness to experiment. Remember, there are no wrong answers in apocalypse cooking, just explosive new discoveries. 2. Spice it up. Remember those spice packets you hoarded from takeout meals? Now's their time to shine. They're not just seasonings. They're your lifeline to Flavor Town in a world where fresh herbs are as rare as a friendly face. Got a can of plain beans? Add some taco seasoning and suddenly, you're in Mexico. A dash of curry powder on your canned chicken, and voila, you're dining in Mumbai. Your bunker might not have windows, but your taste buds don't need to know that. 3. The magic of rehydration. If you were forward-thinking enough to stock up on dried goods, congratulations, you're sitting on a gold mine. Those dried mushrooms and beans aren't just survival food. They're the base for your underground feast. Soak them in whatever liquid you've managed to purify, and watch as they plump up, ready to absorb the flavors of your apocalyptic spice rack. It's like watching life find a way, right there in your pot. 4. Bunker baking. Who says you can't have your cake and eat it too, just because the world ended? Your canned fruit, flour stash, and that one precious can of condensed milk can come together in a symphony of sweetness that'll make you forget, even if just for a moment, the bleakness outside. No oven, no problem. Get creative with a makeshift stovetop setup. You haven't lived until you've tried skillet cornbread by candlelight. 5. Presentation is everything. Finally, remember that the ambiance can make or break a meal. So, light those candles, set up that table, or crate, and maybe even throw on some of that mood music you've been saving for a special occasion. Serve your canned masterpiece on the cleanest dish you can find, and toast to survival with a glass of whatever hasn't gone bad. There you have it, my fellow end-of-the-world Epicureans. With these tips, you're not just surviving, you're thriving with every bite. So raise your forks and let's dig in. After all, if we're going to face the apocalypse, we might as well do it with full bellies and satisfied taste buds. Stay tuned for the next installment, where we'll tackle the thrilling world of post-apocalyptic entertainment. Who needs streaming services when you've got imagination and a flair for the dramatic? Tip 5. The Great Indoor Entertainment Revival. Thriving without Wi-Fi. Who knew the end of the world would have such terrible cell service, right? Welcome to the era where your internet speed is 0 and your entertainment options are limited only by your imagination, and maybe your battery life. Let's dive into the art of keeping yourself amused when the only streaming is the occasional acid rain outside. 1. Board games. The new social media. Remember those board games you used to play before screens took over your soul? Well, they're back and better than ever. Dust off that Monopoly board for a thrilling evening of real estate moguling like it's 1929. Just don't flip the board when you lose. Resources are scarce, and we can't waste anything on petty feuds. 2. Book club for 1 or more. Those books you've been meaning to read? Now's the time. Start your own book club. If it's just you, congratulations, you're always the member of the month. If you've got bunker buddies, even better. Dive into discussions about whether War and Peace was really just Tolstoy showing off. Spoiler, it was. 3. The art of shadow puppetry. Who needs Netflix when you have a flashlight and your hands? The wall of your bunker becomes the screen for the next blockbuster hit. Create elaborate tales of heroism, adventure, and the occasional comedy. Bonus points if you manage to make a shadow puppet that looks like anything other than a duck or a dog. 4. DIY musical instruments. Missing music. Time to get crafty. Those cans and bottles you've been collecting can be transformed into a post-apocalyptic orchestra. A couple of elastic bands stretched over an old box, and you've got yourself a guitar. Just don't expect to win America's Got Talent with it. 5. The one-man show. Ever wanted to be the star of your own show? Well, now's your chance. Write, direct, and star in the play of the century, all from the comfort of your bunker. Perform it to your audience of canned foods. They're a tough crowd, always sitting in silence, but don't let it deter you. 6. Fitness frenzy. Who says you can't stay fit just because the world ended? Design your own workout routine. Use those cans as weights and those hallways as your running track. Create a high-intensity interval training, HIIT session to keep that heart rate up. After all, you need to be in top shape when outrunning zombies or hostile survivors. 7. The joy of scavenging. Turn scavenging missions into a treasure hunt. Create a bingo card of items to find, like a shoe with no pair or an oddly shaped stick. It adds a layer of fun to what would otherwise be a grim necessity. Just remember, safety first. Don't let the excitement of finding a bingo item lead you into danger. And there you have it, folks. Who knew the apocalypse could be so entertaining? It turns out all we needed to cure our chronic boredom was a complete collapse of society. So embrace the simplicity, get creative, and remember, the end of the world is only the beginning of a whole new entertainment era. Tip 6. The Zen of Scavenging. Turning trash into treasure. In the post-apocalyptic world, shopping malls are a thing of the past, and window shopping now involves a suspicious glance through broken glass to ensure the coast is clear of mutants. Welcome to the golden age of scavenging, where one person's trash becomes another's treasure, and the currency of survival hinges on what you can find, repurpose, and barter. 1. The early bird gets the worm, or whatever's left. Timing is crucial in the art of scavenging. You want to be the first to hit the jackpot after a raid, or when a new area becomes accessible. This means getting up at the crack of dawn or moving under the cover of night. Remember, in a world where the early bird gets the worm, being punctual could mean scoring the last can of beans or finding that coveted battery pack. 2. Know your territories. Not all ruins are created equal. Residential areas might offer food and clothing, while industrial zones could hide tools and materials essential for survival. But beware. Certain areas might be more radioactive or mutant-infested than others. Arm yourself with a map, mark your findings, and always keep track of danger zones. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it might also mean not getting eaten. 3. Dress for success. Just like you wouldn't wear flip-flops to hike a mountain, you don't want to go scavenging in anything less than protective and practical attire. Think sturdy boots, gloves, and long sleeves to guard against sharp objects, and a good quality backpack or cart to haul your loot. And of course, a mask or respirator in areas where the air is thick with the unknown. 4. The buddy system. There's safety in numbers. Scavenging with a partner or group not only offers protection but allows you to cover more ground and carry more goods. Plus, it's always helpful to have someone watch your back while you dig through the remnants of civilization. Just make sure your scavenging squad is made up of folks you trust, because betrayal over a can of Spam isn't just tragic, it's wasteful. 5. Barter like a boss. Finally, remember that scavenging isn't just about what you find, it's about what you can do with it. Items that seem useless to you could be invaluable to someone else. Master the art of bartering, and you'll find that even the most mundane discoveries can be traded for necessities or information. Always be on the lookout for trade hubs or fellow survivors willing to exchange goods. With the right negotiation skills, you could turn a found trinket into a meal or a much-needed part for your shelter. And there you have it, a beginner's guide to thriving in the post-apocalyptic economy. Remember, with a keen eye and a bit of ingenuity, the world is your oyster, or at least whatever's left of it. So, strap on your boots, grab your bag, and let's turn today's trash into tomorrow's treasure. Stay safe, stay smart, and happy scavenging. Tip 7. Securing your sleep spot. The Zen of Z's in Z-Apocalypse. Welcome back, survivors. If you've been following along, you know we've covered everything from fashion faux pas to culinary capers in the wasteland. But let's dial it back from our daytime endeavors and focus on the crucial, often overlooked aspect of apocalypse survival. A good night's sleep. Yes, you heard right. Even amidst the chaos, mastering the art of securing and enjoying a peaceful slumber is paramount. Here's how to ensure your sleep spot is as safe and cozy as a bed of nails can get, because sometimes that's literally what you're working with. 1. Location, location, location. In real estate, it's all about location. In the apocalypse, it's about not waking up to a mutant rat nibbling at your toes. Elevate your sleeping quarters. Lofts, tree houses, the top shelf of a deserted supermarket. Just sweep the dust off first. Height is might when it comes to avoiding unwelcome midnight visitors. 2. The bed of kings and queens. Forget memory foam. Welcome to the era of ingenuity foam. Your mattress might be a pile of old clothes, a stack of newspapers, or for the lucky ones, an actual mattress you managed to drag into your hideout. Whatever it is, make it work. Layer it. Wrap it in the cleanest thing you can find. Standards have obviously shifted. And voila. You've got a bed that might just make you forget the world outside is more twisted than a Stephen King novel. 3. Perimeter checks. Before you let Morpheus take you on a journey to dreamland, ensure your sleep spot is as secure as Fort Knox. Booby traps might sound over the top, but in a world where your neighbor might be eyeing you as their next meal, a string of cans attached to a tripwire is the difference between waking up or not. Remember, a little paranoia goes a long way. 4. White noise wonders. The sounds of the apocalypse, howling winds, distant screams, the occasional explosion, aren't exactly conducive to sleep. If you're lucky enough to have a battery-powered device, some soothing sounds or white noise can help mask the cacophony of the end times. If not, get creative. A gently ticking clock, wind up, of course, the hum of a well-secured generator, or even a makeshift wind chime can provide a comforting barrier against the night's unrest. 5. Rituals and routines. Lastly, never underestimate the power of a bedtime routine. Even if it's as simple as washing your face with a damp cloth or jotting down a line in your journal, assuming you haven't used all your pages for kindling. These small acts signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. Plus, maintaining some semblance of normalcy amidst chaos is a win in and of itself. And there you have it, folks. Securing your sleep spot is an art and a science. a delicate balance between vigilance and relaxation. But with these tips, you're well on your way to catching some much-needed Z's. Sleep tight. Don't let the bedbugs, or worse, bite. And remember, a well-rested survivor is a surviving survivor. See you in the daylight. Tip 8. Bunker Buddy Basics. The apocalypse. A time when the phrase, "no man is an island," becomes less an inspirational quote and more a survival strategy. But let's be real. Not all bunker buddies are created equal. And in a world where your survival depends on the company you keep, choosing wisely isn't just good advice. It's a downright necessity. So, how do you ensure your post-apocalyptic posse is more superhero squad than dysfunctional reality TV cast? Buckle up, survivors, as we navigate the murky waters of apocalypse alliances. 1. Skills over frills. When picking your end-of-days entourage, think less about who would be fun at a party and more about who can purify water without starting a fire. Skills are the currency of the apocalypse, and you want to be rich in resources. Can they build a shelter? Do they know first aid? Can they tell the difference between a poisonous berry and a snack? These are the questions that matter. Remember, charm doesn't fill bellies or mend wounds, usually. 2. Trust is a must. In a world gone wild, trust is more valuable than the last can of beans. Your bunker buddy should be someone you can rely on with your life, because, quite literally, you'll have to. Shared history is great, but observe their actions in crisis. Do they share? Do they keep calm? Or do they eye your ration of water a little too greedily? Trust your gut, unless it's just hungry. 3. The morale officer. Let's face it, the apocalypse is a downer. Surrounding yourself with people who can see the silver lining, even if it's just the reflection of a tin can make all the difference. Someone who can crack a joke when you're eating your 100th consecutive meal of canned corn, or who can spin a good yarn to distract from the howls outside is worth their weight in gold. Morale is a resource too. Don't let it run low. 4. Diversity is key. A well-rounded team means covering more survival skills and having various perspectives to tackle problems. Someone's strength might be another's weakness, and in the post-apocalyptic world, versatility is your best defense. Think of it like assembling your apocalypse Avengers. Every skill brings something unique to the table. 5. The Lone Wolf Dilemma. Finally, beware the lone wolf. While the brooding, solitary type might seem intriguing or capable, remember that teamwork makes the dream work, or in this case, keeps everyone alive. If they're all about going it alone or show signs of not playing well with others, it might be best to let them wander back into the wasteland. So there you have it. Future leaders of the remnants of humanity. Choose your apocalypse allies like you're casting for survival, not a sitcom. The right crew can make the difference between thriving and merely surviving. And who knows? With the right team, you might just rebuild the world. Or at least, enjoy the ride down. Tip 9. Cultivating calm. Mental health in the midst of mayhem. In the tapestry of turmoil that is the post-apocalypse, maintaining your mental oasis is akin to finding a needle in a haystack. A really, really important needle. As we navigate the ruins of civilization, the battle isn't just against the external chaos, it's also within the quiet, or not so quiet, recesses of our minds. Here's how to keep your mental fortitude fortified, even when it feels like the world is playing a never-ending game of doom and gloom. 1. Daily dose of normal. Establish routines that remind you of life pre-apocalypse. Brush your teeth with ash if you must, comb your hair with your fingers, or allocate time for a morning stretch amidst the rubble. Clinging to these shards of normalcy can be a lifeline to your sanity. 2. Laugh in the face of danger. Well, maybe not directly in its face. Danger has terrible breath. But find humor where you can. A joke about the absurdity of your situation. A humorous observation about mutant wildlife. Or even laughing at how unprepared you were. Who knew those apocalypse preppers were onto something? Can be powerful medicine. 3. Art in the ashes. Creativity isn't just for the before times. It's a powerful tool for processing emotions and expressing what words cannot. Sketch in the soot, compose a ballad on the bones of the old world, dance in the dust, whatever channels your inner turmoil into something tangible. Tip 4. Mindfulness against madness. A deep breath, a pause to feel the sun on your face, a second to savor a bite of food, can anchor you to the present and away from overwhelming despair. 5. Community counts. Isolation is a luxury you can't afford, mentally speaking. Share fears, hopes, and stories with your bunker buddies. Human connection is a beacon in the darkness, a reminder that you're not alone in this fight. Plus, shared misery does have its own company, and it's surprisingly comforting. 6. Physical wellness, mental wealth. The mind-body connection isn't just a trendy topic for wellness blogs. It's real and vital. Exercise, even if it's just jogging from threats or doing push-ups in your safe house, releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that are the brain's equivalent of a warm hug. In the end, the apocalypse might have taken the world as we know it, but it doesn't get to claim your mind. By cultivating calm and fostering mental resilience, you're not just surviving, you're thriving in defiance of the chaos. So, keep your wits as sharp as your survival skills, and remember, the mind is the ultimate survival tool. Keep it sharp, keep it serene, and keep on keeping on. Tip 10. Never lose hope. The beacon in the dark. As we approach the culmination of our not-so-little guide to thriving in the ashes of civilization, it's crucial to remember the ember that fuels the fire of survival: hope. In a landscape littered with the remnants of yesterday, hope is not just a nice-to-have, it's the North Star guiding us through the darkest nights. So, how do you keep the flame alive when all around you seems bleak? 1. Celebrate the small wins. Found a can of food? Fixed a leaky shelter roof? Managed not to get eaten today? Celebrate it. In the grand, apocalyptic scheme of things, these are the victories that pave the road to tomorrow. They're reminders that progress, no matter how minute, is still progress. 2. Reminisce, but don't dwell. Remembering the world before its fall can be a double-edged sword. It's important to reminisce about the beauty that once was, to recall the warmth of a world now lost. But dwelling on what cannot be changed serves only to darken today's light. Instead, use those memories as motivation to rebuild, not reasons to despair. 3. Cultivate a vision. What does your ideal post-apocalyptic world look like? Is it a community built on the values you held dear before the end? Is it a solitary life, in harmony with the new world around you? Visualizing a goal, a future to strive towards, can turn the act of surviving into living. 4. Find your why. Survival is as much about why you want to keep going as it is about how. Is it love for family, a responsibility to rebuild, the sheer stubbornness not to let the apocalypse have the last word? Identifying your why can be the anchor that keeps you grounded through storms and stillness alike. 5. Share stories. The oral tradition isn't just for ancient civilizations. It's a powerful tool for the post-apocalyptic survivor. Share stories of the past, of dreams for the future, of fictional tales that ignite the imagination. Stories remind us of our humanity, connect us to each other, and sow the seeds of hope. 6. Laugh, love, live. Amidst the desolation, never forget to laugh at the absurdity of it all, to love those with whom you share this shattered world, and to live every day to its fullest. These are the acts of defiance that the apocalypse cannot quell. They are the essence of hope. In the end, the apocalypse may have changed the world, but it doesn't have the power to change the core of who we are. Keeping hope alive isn't just about believing in the possibility of a better tomorrow. It's about making it a reality through our actions today. So hold on to that hope, fuel it with every small victory, every shared laugh, every moment of love. It's the beacon that will lead us through the dark, towards a dawn that's ours to shape. A special thanks to all of you. Before we officially part ways, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. Your presence, your engagement, and your enthusiasm have transformed this journey from a mere series of survival tips into a vibrant community sharing in the spirit of resilience and laughter. If you found any joy, insight, or even a chuckle in our apocalyptic adventure, please don't forget to hit that like button below. It's a small gesture, but it means the world to us and helps spread the word to fellow survivors navigating the wasteland of the internet. For those of you who've been with us through thick and thin, or are just discovering the wonders of our post-apocalyptic guide, consider subscribing to the channel. Not only will you never miss out on future escapades, but you'll also become an integral part of a community that values humor, hope, and the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And if you're feeling particularly generous and want to support the future of the channel, enabling us to bring you more content filled with tips, tales, and the occasional radioactive rabbit, please consider using the Super Thanks feature. Every contribution goes a long way in ensuring that our little corner of the post-apocalyptic internet continues to thrive and expand. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening, for laughing, and for lending your support. Together, we're not just surviving the apocalypse, we're rewriting the rules of engagement with it, one tip at a time. Stay safe, stay strong, and most importantly, stay smiling. Until next time, farewell, and thank you.